Sheridan, it's Mrs. Friebolin back with another book for you. We are going to start The Homework Machine by Dan Gutman. It's a fun story about four kids who aren't really friends, but come together to do their homework one day. And they actually make a computer that will do their homework for them. And I'm sure we all think that's a great idea, but sometimes, as we find out, the best ideas are not always the best ideas. So I hope you enjoy The Homework Machine. Introduction. Police Chief Rebecca Fish, Grand Canyon, Arizona. Seen a lot of strange stuff go down in 10 years working here. Probably had something to do with being so close to the canyon. Having a mile-deep hole in your backyard brings out the weirdness in folks. I remember the time that gambler from LA lost a bet in Las Vegas, and his friends drove him up here. Forced him to parachute into the canyon. Guy almost died. You get all kinds in this part of the country. The canyon attracts them like flies to dog do. But this recent situation involving the children was one of the strangest cases I've ever run into. We called in everybody who had anything to do with what happened and taped their private interviews. As far as I'm concerned, the case is closed. Let's hope these four students learn their lesson. This will never happen again. That's for darn sure. So the rest of the book is all their interviews with the police officer. Chapter 1, September, Sam Dawkins, grade 5. The police lady says me and Brenton and Judy and Kelsey have to each come in separately and talk about what happened. Okay, so here goes. Is this thing on? My name is Sam Dawkins. Everyone calls me Snickwad on account of my last name, spelled backwards, Dawkins, Snickwad. Get it? Most kids call me Snick. It's kind of cool. Kids have a nickname like Boogerface or Fart Boy or something stupid like that. I was new to school. I didn't know anything, and I didn't get kicked out of my old school because I refused to get a haircut. That's a lie. I don't know how that rumor got started, and I don't care if you believe me. That's the truth. Anyway, my parents moved here from Oregon. My dad was in the Air Force, and that's why I moved to Arizona. He's assigned to Luke Air Force Base near Phoenix. The bottom line is, we messed up. We won't do it again. We all feel really bad. What are you going to do? Throw us in jail? That's my statement. What, you need more than that? Details? All right. What do you want to know? Kelsey Donnelly, grade 5. My name is Kelsey Donnelly. I really don't see the reason why we have to do this. The police lady told me I have to make a statement in private and tell the whole story what happened from the very beginning in September. Like, I'm a creep or something? I barely remember what happened last week. Forget about way back in September. Look, we're sorry, okay? We were having a little fun. It got out of hand. It's not like we robbed a bank or anything. That's my statement. I can't believe I have to spend my summer in this room with a tape recorder when I could be out having fun. Can I go now? Judy Douglas, grade 5. My name is Judy Douglas. My mom works at home and my dad works for the National Park Service. He cuts down dead trees and does controlled burns to prevent forest fires. The whole thing started because certain people, who shall remain nameless, did some thoughtless things that I don't need to discuss here. This is so unfair. I have almost straight A's, and I'm in the gifted and talented program. I would never break a law or do anything dishonest. Things just got out of control. The next thing we knew, we had to go talk to the police. Do you have any idea how humiliating this has been for me? Do you know how upset my parents were when they found out? And now this is going to be on my permanent record for the rest of my life? This is going to keep me in a law school someday. I will be so angry. I'll sue. That's what I'll do. Well, if I get into law school, then I'll sue. But if I do get into law school, I won't need to sue. I'll just wish I could go to sleep and wake up and find out this was all a dream. Like it never happened. Judy's mom. My first reaction was that this is just discrimination. We're one of the few African-American families living in this area. When something bad happens to Judy, I can't help but wonder if it's bigotry at work. But I looked into it, and it's not the case. She and the others did a dumb thing, and they got caught. It's as simple as that. And now they're going to have to pay for it. Brenton, Damagachi, grade 5. It's interesting how things happen sometimes. If I line up 10 dominoes and I push over the first one, the others will fall one by one. But if I leave the first one alone, all the other dominoes remain standing. Life is like that. The way your life plays out depends on which dominoes you choose to push over and which ones you leave alone. In this case, We pushed over the wrong domino. Can I get a drink of water? Miss Rasmussen, 5th grade teacher. I was so excited, walking into my own classroom for the first time in September. I was a student teacher in Ohio, and I was hoping to get a job somewhere in the West, preferably near a national park. I've always been a nature lover, and I wanted to share this with young people. When I got an offer to teach 5th grade at the Grand Canyon School, well, I thought this was the best thing that could happen to me. The Grand Canyon! I'd never been here before. Just think. Over the course of 4 billion years, the Colorado River slowly slices gash into the earth. I spent hours of exploring it when I moved here. I took lots of pictures of layers of rock. The Grand Canyon is like a sculpture created by nature. I was in awe. Judy Douglas, grade 5. When I walked into Miss Rasmussen's class the first day of school, I was thinking that struck me that she is so young. I mean, she almost looked like she could be one of the students. I'd like that, because I figured she'd be really enthusiastic about everything. Some of the older teachers who have been teaching all their lives don't get too excited about things anymore. On the other hand, I was afraid Miss Rasmussen might not be experienced enough to handle some of the boys, who can be problems sometimes. Sam Dawkins, grade 5. So I walked into class on the first day of September, and I see this new kid, and I'm so nervous, and I don't want anyone looking at me. But they're all looking at me anyway because I'm a new kid, and everybody wants to check out the new kid. I scope out the scene, and it's obvious who the cool kids are, who the dumb kids are, who the dorks are, and who the smart kids are. I could tell in a minute. The class had the usual number of clueless dweebs, pre-jock idiots, losers, brown-nosers, and bullies, just like my old school. But there was one kid who stood out, Brenton. You just knew the first time you see him that there is something different about this kid. Judy Douglas, grade 5. Brenton was dressed funny, with these stiff long pants no matter how hot it was. He always wore a button-down shirt, and sometimes he'd even wear a tie to school. Can you imagine? I guess his mom made him dress that way. I mean, I hope so at least. I can't imagine a boy wearing a tie to school on his own decision. He was actually pretty good looking, but he combed his hair in a really weird way, like he parted on the wrong side or something. Once I suggested to him that he looked better if he combed his hair the other way. He just looked at me like I was crazy. Like it didn't occur to him that you could change your personal appearance to look better, or that it would matter. He probably had so many more important things on his mind that he couldn't bother with something so trivial as combing his hair. Some of the other kids would make fun of him behind his back, sometimes even in front of him. He didn't have any friends. Nobody seemed to know what to make of him. Sam Dawkins, grade 5. Brenton just came out and said the weirdest stuff. Like one time he comes up to me and asks if I know what they make glass out of. I says no. And then he says they make glass out of sand. I say that's interesting, even though I really don't think it's interesting. Then he gets a look in his eyes that he says, they take sand and make it into glass. He says he figures that if they can turn sand into glass, just about anything is possible. I'm telling you, this guy's different. Kelsey Donnelly, grade 5. Brenton was a genius when it came to school and stuff, but he was really stupid when it came to other stuff. I remember one time this reality TV show was hot and everybody was talking about it. I mean everybody. And we were at recess talking about it. And Brenton comes out and says something like, I never heard of that show. We all just looked at him. It was like not knowing the sun was in the sky. And they say, I'm dumb. But that's just the way Brenton is. He doesn't know or care about the stuff that normal people do. We all thought he was kind of a dork. Well, probably Judy didn't because she was a genius too. Sam Dawkins, grade 5. Most kids at least try to act cool in some way. You know, they'll get cool t-shirts with logos on them, and they'll get a cool bike or listen to cool music. They might even be cool themselves. But they make themselves cool by having cool stuff or hanging around with other cool people. But Brenton, he didn't even try. Brenton Damaguchi, grade 5. What does cool mean anyway? Did you know that Abraham Lincoln once said, that is cool? It's true. Look it up. He said it in his famous Cooper Union speech. Google it if you don't believe me. I feel that a person can change himself or herself no more than a giraffe can decide they don't want to have a long neck. It would be easy enough to buy the latest clothes and watch the hot new TV shows and surround myself with cool things. But that wouldn't make me cool. Nothing would ever make me cool. Some people are simply destined not to be cool. And I'm cool with that. If everybody was cool, everybody would be the same. Nobody would be cooler than anyone else. And there'd be no one to make fun of. So I suppose I serve a purpose, in a weird sort of way. Miss Rasmussen, 5th grade teacher. Our claim to fame at the Grand Canyon School is that we're the closest school to the Grand Canyon. We're about a half a mile from the South Rim. If you've ever been to the canyon, our school is south of the El Tavora and near Bright Angel. We go all the way from kindergarten to 12th grade, and I believe we have the only high school that's in a national park. By September, most of the tourists have gone back to work and school, and it's pretty quiet around here. But it's nice because we have the canyon to ourselves. We've got a lot of great teachers, nice parents, and good kids here. But sometimes, good kids do bad things. Sam Dawkins, grade 5. Someone told me the human's brain isn't fully formed until we're about 20 years old. That's why kids do dumb things. And that's why we're not allowed to vote or drink or stuff. And you can't really blame us for the dumb things we did. I don't think so, since our brains aren't formed yet. Miss Rasmussen, 5th grade teacher. Some teachers like to have the desks arranged in perfect rows. In graduate school, one of my professors told me that children learn better when they work in small groups. I divide the class into 6 groups of 4 kids, and we push their desks together in those groups. I had no big plan for Brenton, Kelsey, Judy, and Sam. I just put them there alphabetically. All their last names start with D, so we called them the D Squad. Every child is unique, of course, and it's necessary to treat them as individuals. Just like me, Sam was new to the area, and he had some initial problems adjusting the curriculum and the other students. Judy seemed very studious from the start, and I could tell it was very important to her to be a high achiever. Kelsey was the opposite. She didn't appear to like school very much. And Brenton, well, Brenton was different. Brenton Damaguchi, grade 5. It makes no difference to me where I sit. I get the same information if I'm sitting on one side of the room or the other. I don't ordinarily strike up friendships with my classmates. Snick, Judy, and Kelsey pretty much ignored me, and I ignored them, at least in September. It was fine. Brenton's mom. He was always different. From the moment he was born, I don't think he ever cried when he was a baby. Not even once. When he was hungry, he would just look at me with his look that said, if I could speak, I'd be saying, I need a bottle. He spoke very early. He had no interest in watching television or playing with other children. Instead, he would play chess against himself. He taught himself how to play the piano as soon as he was big enough to climb on the bench. When he was 6, he wrote a concerto. Really, that's what he called it too, my concerto. I don't know where he got that word. I still don't know what it means. He's very special. Brenton Tamaguchi, grade 5. I was thinking of starting a club for kids like me. We don't particularly enjoy the company of other people. We'd call it the antisocial club. We'd hold meetings and talk about the best ways to avoid other people. But then I decided the best way to avoid other people would not be to start a club. Kelsey Donnelly, grade 5. The good thing about sitting at Brenton's table was that you could copy answers off him. He knew everything, and he didn't care if I peeked at his papers. That's the only reason I got a B in math for the first marking period. I copied. Sam, grade 5. What did I think of the other kids at my table when I first met them? Let me think. First impressions. Judy, stuck up. Kelsey, loser. Brenton, dork from another planet. I was the only cool one. Judy Douglas, 5th grade. Oh, I didn't like Snit at all in the beginning. He had really long hair, which I personally think looks terrible on a boy. And he had this very smart, alecky, I hate the world attitude. It's typical of boys with low self-esteem. I understand. He struck me as, I hate to say this, but he struck me as stupid. Kelsey, well, she didn't seem to care about anything. And I found it very hard to relate to her because I care so much about everything. She and Snick are not the kind of people I would ever hang around with. Brenton, what can I say about him? I was in awe of him. I've been in Brenton's class ever since 1st grade, and he was always smarter than me. I try so hard all the time, and he never seems like he's trying at all. I was in awe of his national intelligence. I had never met anyone who was smarter than me. I almost felt like nobody should be allowed to be that brilliant. I never made fun of Brenton the way the other kids did. Ronnie Totawi, grade 5. My name's Ronnie. I sit on the other side of the room near the cloakroom. Why do I have to be here? I had nothing to do with this. I never wanted to sit with any of those D-squad losers. Snick's a jerk. Everybody knows he got thrown out of his last school. Personally, I loved it when the 4 of them got in trouble. Took the attention off me. Kelsey Donnelly, grade 5. I guess it all started because of homework. Homework sucks, but I have to do it. It would even suck worse to fail and have to repeat a grade because I didn't do my homework. Sam Dawkins, grade 5. I've always been anti-homework, and I'll tell you why. We work at school all day long. Then finally 3 o'clock comes, we get to go home. And what do? More schoolwork. It's not fair. When I get home from school, my brain needs a rest. I want to hang out, watch some TV, play a video game. Homework's like punishment, just because you're a kid. Miss Rasmussen, 5th grade teacher. I came across a worksheet titled The 10 Commandments of Homework. I made a copy for everyone in class. For their first homework assignment of the year, I asked them to write their feelings about it. The 10 Commandments of Homework. 1. Homework is an essential part of learning. 2. Not doing your homework because you do not believe in homework is self-defeating behavior. 3. Keep track of your daily assignments. 4. The more you review information, the easier it will be to remember and the longer you'll be able to retain it. Even though you may not have written work to do, you can always review or reread assignments. 5. It is your responsibility to find out that you have missed an assignment if you are absent. Take the initiative or ask a classmate or teacher what needs to be made up. 6. Have a place to study that works for you, one that's free from distractions. Be honest with yourself. How well do you study when the TV is on? 7. Make sure you have everything you need before beginning your work. 8. Develop a schedule and follow it. 9. Be rested when you study. It's okay to study in short blocks of time. Marathon sessions may be self-defeating. Study for about 30 minutes, then take a little break. 10. Prioritize your homework so that you begin with the most important assignment first. For instance, study for a test, then do the daily assignment. Sam Dawkins, grade 5. Miss R gave us this dumb assignment to write about the 10 Commandments of Homework. Here's what I turned in. SNCC's 10 Commandments of Homework. 1. We live in a democracy. We have freedom, right? We're entitled to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So how can I pursue happiness if I have to spend every day doing homework? It's cruel punishment created by grown-ups to take away the freedoms of poor, defenseless children. 2. Nobody ever saved a life, won a war, stopped a crime, or cured a disease while they were doing homework. Think of all the good things we could be accomplishing if we weren't doing homework. 3. Doing homework causes eye strain, fatigue, insomnia, and other physical ailments. 4. Thomas Edison went to school for 4 months. He never did any homework, and look how he turned out. 5. There's a name for working without getting paid. It's called slavery, and it was banned during the Civil War. If kids were forced to do homework, they should get paid for it. 6. Homework is proof the teachers are incompetent. If a teacher's any good, students should learn everything in school and not have to do it again at home. 7. Doing homework is wastes valuable natural resources. We have to use our energy to keep all those light bulbs burning. We have to cut down trees for paper and pencils. We could save a lot of energy by banning homework. 8. I keep hearing that American kids are way too fat, and that's because we don't get enough exercise. For every minute kids are doing homework, we're getting fatter. Kids should be outside running around doing exercise, not inside doing worthless worksheets. 9. Virtually every known bank robber or criminal did homework when they were children. How can we be sure that homework didn't cause their criminal behavior? 10. Homework sucks. There should be an amendment banning it. Miss Rasmussen, 5th grade teacher. I didn't like what Sam wrote, but I gave him a B for creativity. Sam's mom. We've moved around a lot, and Sam never stayed in one school for very long. My husband was stationed in Oregon, and we liked living there. But Sam was going through a difficult phase, and he got suspended from school last year. We thought it would be a good idea to move and get a fresh start somewhere else. There's an Air Force base near Phoenix. My husband requested a transfer, and that's what brought us here. That was before the war broke out, of course. Back in Oregon, Sam simply refused to get a haircut, and he refused to do his homework. We couldn't do anything to help him. What are you supposed to do? Strap your kid into a chair and whip him? Kids reach an age where they naturally become defiant. So we made a deal with him. He didn't have to get a haircut if he did his homework. We figured that homework was more important than hair. When it comes to raising kids, sometimes you have to choose your battles. His hair looks horrible, but at least he's doing his homework. Judy Douglas, grade 5. All right, I admit it. I like homework. Kids make fun of me, and I think it's necessary and part of our education. Homework reinforces what we've learned in school each day. My friends and I used to go to each other's houses and do our homework together. It was fun. It was a social thing, and I thought SNCC made a big deal out of nothing. It's just homework. Miss Rasmussen, 5th grade teacher. Compared to other teachers, I don't even assign that much homework. I give the students about 45 minutes a night. That's it. It was a lot different when I was a kid. I remember spending hours each night doing homework. I practically lived in the library and I never complained. Back in those days, if you didn't do your homework or you misbehaved, you might get a yardstick wrapped against your knuckles. Today, of course, we don't do that. Then again, I'd say kids aren't that motivated today. We study a lot about Arizona history and geography of the western United States in 5th grade, so we devote a lot of time to that. We also cover the solar system, explorers, things like that. I thought the kids would like it. The homework isn't hard. Sam Dawkins, grade 5. So one day back in September, Miss Rasmussen passed out our homework assignments just as the bell rings. I'm in a bad mood because it's been a long day and I don't feel like going home and doing more schoolwork. You know what I mean? So I look at Brenton. He sticks his homework assignment in his backpack like he doesn't bother him at all. You could give him 10 hours of homework and he'd be perfectly happy. The kid is like a human computer. So I started on him, saying he probably spends all his free time doing homework. And he says something like, no, actually, I don't spend any time doing homework. Say, what? I asked him if he got a brother or sister who does it for him. That'd be a sweet deal. He says, no. He says he invented a machine that does his homework. I say, get out of town. That's the first I heard of the homework machine. Brenton Tamaguchi, grade 5. It was a mistake on my part. I allowed my emotions to govern my behavior. But I've never understood why average and under-average students feel necessity to poke fun at those of us who work hard and do well in school. If anything, it should be the other way around. I suppose I didn't appreciate Snick making fun of me, but it was a fatal blunder on my part to have told him about the homework machine. I accept full responsibility. And that was chapter 1, so we'll see what happens with the homework machine.